Everyone take 3 nice deep breaths, please. So this is a time where we're going to be entering into the third eye of the quiet storm. This is an activation for a new level of brow chakra awakening and higher level of awareness. And I'm going to get present for what the activation will bring forth. So I'll be in the receptive mode so that I can receive that wisdom and insight. But what initially came up was that this was a new third eye adventure, and it is about being in the quietness of the eye of the storm. And the storm is not what we traditionally think about in terms of, something, kind of chaotic in a sense, or threatening. This is different. Sometimes you have a storm that you are in, and it is one that has been preparing you for a greater work. And you've learned how to navigate processes very masterfully. And now you are finding yourself just really in the calmest place in the eye. And sometimes things are quiet within, that space. And the quietness is because you are learning how to not just see and hear, so to speak, traditionally, but it puts you in the place of your deeper knowing, and it's developing that knowing. And being highly intuitive, because you all are very highly intuitive, and with your brow chakra opening up and into different dimensions, and I'm going to be getting into that during this process, is that it's not so much about seeing a new vision, it's about knowing. It's about knowing that vision, knowing the new path that's opening up, the new awareness, knowing and allowing that knowingness to lead you, versus a vision, or again, hearing something or having to see something. It's just that knowing that puts you in that greater state of trust, higher faith. But at the same time, you actually are seeing. You are seeing in a sensory way, in just a knowing way. And it gives you insight. And that's the sight that you need, is the inner sight. And that inner knowing is what produces that inner sight and clarity for you to be able to make some context, out of what it is that you're getting, what it is that you're receiving. Let's take a deep breath, please. So during this time, as we are entering into the third eye of the storm, the quiet storm, what you feel is more of the integration of the crown chakra energy as well. So during this time where you would particularly be seeing indigo, you will probably see purple, maybe a combination of the colors. And this is actually entering into a new dimension of the brow chakra of the third eye. And so with that has a more expansive context than the traditional context around the third eye. And this is where, again, it gets more into the inner sight of the knowingness, and allowing the knowingness to be the navigator. So this is your new GPS that the third eye is desiring to bring forth. It's establishing a new level of a visionary leader, in a sense, and bringing that from within you. So let's just be present in the space here before the activation process begins. I'm still allowing myself to be very present for what all that will entail as I receive the wisdom that needs to come forth in order to bring the activation to you. So at this moment, I want you to just sort of surrender all of what you've come to know about opening your third eye, about the energy body, about the chakra system in general. Just kind of surrender that for a moment, because new fundamentals, new foundations, and new formations and new functionalities will certainly come into play. And as we are being in the quietness of this third eye storm, the most calm place, just like within a storm, within a hurricane, within a tornado, they always say, you know, the eye of a hurricane or a tornado is the calmest place. If you could just be, you know, in that middle, if you could just be in that eye. What happens is that, you know, everything around you could be going on, but it's something about being in that quiet, sacred space, in the calm of it all. You've stepped outside of all the context of chaos or really just normality. And so this puts you in a very unique place and space so that you can honor what is emerging. And what is emerging? The very thing that is emerging is this new life, and you need new sight and knowingness for this new life that wants to come through you. And with that, this higher level awareness of your spiritual intellect and an intuition, your divine intelligence, lends itself to this more expansive knowingness that is going to be required for you to even know how to best prepare and be able to be a part of this new experience that is emerging. It's the very life that you are here to live and facilitate and demonstrate also for others. So just imagine yourself for a moment being outside of everything that you have known about success, about how you achieve your goals, how manifestations take place, how dreams turn into reality. And then step outside of all of that. Just be in the space for just a moment. Take a deep breath, please. So what are you knowing right now? What are you knowing? Let's allow the quietness, some time of silence to speak, for the volume to be turned up in the quietness and the calmness of being present in your third eye, in that brow chakra. So what came up for you just then during that brief time of honoring the silence? And maybe nothing. has come up at this point. But if so, if you do have any note-taking material handy, I'm going to ask that you write that down because it'll be relevant, I'm sure, when it is time for the activation to be anchored. So what do you most need to be aware of right now as you are in the calm of the storm of your third eye storm? What is it speaking to you about your next level? Take a deep breath, please. And so we're going to do some more deep breathing. I'm going to invite you to take about 5 more deep breaths, please. So what's actually coming up now is about imagining yourself out at sea. So the water element is coming into play because the seeing is seeing. Being out at sea instead of S-E-E, S-E-A. And a lot of times there are storms, out at sea because often storms begin, like hurricanes and tornadoes, typically emerge from water of some sort, a reservoir. So as you are out to sea and imagining being in that place, what are you sensing or what are you seeing? And just write that down. So this is really a time of stillness and quietness. So there might be several long pauses as this activation seems to be taking on a different nature than most, and none of them are typically the same. But I do find sometimes that there are some similarities, and this one really seems and feels like it's taking on a very different context. And so I myself am excited to see just how this progresses. Take a deep breath, please. So being out at sea, what does that mean? What does that mean during this time? Being out at sea on this new third eye adventure. Okay, here we go. Now shifting from the eye of the storm to the eye of the sea. Okay. So the storm developed and prepared you to be able to be a visionary out at sea. And really what the sea represents is really an ocean of opportunity, expansiveness. having this expansiveness and have been prepared for the expansiveness allows you to see on the sea that which is a greater context to the bigger overall picture for why you are even here. So answers will be coming to you more clearly about that. So now upon shifting from storm to sea, so to speak, I want you to ask what that means for you. What does that specifically mean for you? So we could have that to ground and anchor as the activation continues. Something that's coming up right now is not trying to make sense of any of this. It's really just allowing this experience to be what it is. This is part of the expansiveness. It's being beyond the understandings of trying to conform or confine thoughts into normacy, because this new adventure is all about a new normal without the normacies of normal normalities, even sometimes in their newer context. It's really unique for you. So you have to be very present with this. But it does take this awakening energy of the brow chakra, of the third eye, to be expansive. So I want you to be present with the colors that might come up for you during this time. They hold great significance in terms of when it is time to anchor, that you can be focused in on those colors as well. So some of you may be wondering, what does the meaning of these colors have? Why is this significant? It's significant because with any new level, and what I teach even with the chakras is the new colors and new dimensions, is because there are different tones and textures to to the colors, and sometimes different colors come up so that there's not the clinging and familiarity to that which has already been known, because this is about expanding into a newer unknown, and being able to just have the new level of awakening around being with the chakras in this way, and allowing the new colors that take you into new dimensions. It really is just taking you out of the traditional form and allowing you to, come into your own uniqueness and greater expansiveness. Take a deep breath, please. So surrendering your present wants for a more expansive desire. So I want you to tune into this level of your third eye chakra and just be present with the wisdom it provides to you around that premise. What do you sense and what do you see? What are you hearing? What are you knowing? What is your third eye communicating to you? And especially now that you shifted from storm to sea, from preparation to position. And that's what's being activated actually for this new adventure, is shifting from preparation to position, and positioning with new sight, new higher intuitive intelligence and wisdom. That's what's being activated. From the quiet of the storm to the calm sea that you navigate and help others to navigate this new adventure, the new third eye adventure. It's something that I have noticed in several of my, not just activations, but even teachings with the new dimensions of the chakras, because that's what I teach, is that the third eye has really been trying to integrate with other chakras in several of the teachings. Not necessarily wanting to be a standalone anymore, but a companion, a chakra companion to the other chakras. And I've noticed that it kind of sneaks its way in a sense. And even more recently did it with the crown chakra. And now here's the integration in a sense here as well. Is that the crown is being present, but it is more as if this were initially going to be around the crown chakra energy and the brow chakra. I don't want to say sort of has taken over, but it wanted to be the signature standout with the crown energy, not just being complementary, but being one. And so for those of you who probably were seeing the indigo and the violet or the purple, together, probably have a stronger sense of that spiritual context and connection, and ready to really catapult into this new position for this new adventure. And for those who are just seeing just the indigo, or maybe even different colors and shades of blue, we're just ones who need to be more immersed in the eye of the storm still. Just a little bit more preparation energy, but now definitely ready to move forward, to feel prepared for this shift into this position. And again, this activation seems to be taking on a very different nature, and which is fine. But it is about anchoring with the surety and certainty that you are prepared for this position. It is time to be in the ocean of opportunity, the ocean of opulence, and allowing this new GPS with the new third eye adventure to be the navigation source that guides you, during this time. Take a deep breath, please. So as we are present in the engulfing of this experience. Prepared and positioned for the new platform of your purpose is the destination that you are journeying to in an accelerated way. And this is what we are grounding and activating. Take 3 nice deep breaths, please. Stimulating that pineal gland in multiple dimensions. That it not just be one sight, one third eye, but dimensions of that chakra that comes forth to support this overall new expansive initiative. The eyes within the eyes, the knowing within the knowing, the seeing within the seeing, the sensing within the sensing. Higher level of this navigation is opening up the greater potential that we know through sight, inner sight, insight, that provides all clarity for this newer context, opening up to a more expansive portal of purpose and possibilities, infinite possibilities, unlimited potential ready to be expressed. This is what all is coming forth from the preparation to the position to the platform of higher purpose, and we activate this and we anchor this in the knowingness, in the all-seeing dimensions of the third eye, of the chakras now expanded and expanding even more. Take a nice deep breath, please. And feel into that. Feel into that new purpose. Whatever you see and sense, just jot that down. In just one word or a phrase or a feeling, you can come back to it later. Take another nice deep breath, please. Just be quiet in the mind, calm in your spirit, and receive the activation. Know that it is done and it is complete. In your new third eye adventure in new dimensions is now underway. Take a nice deep breath. And we are complete. Thank you.